is Merissa.
I'm Joe.
We started going to Veritas when we were in college. We staged through more school, and then we left in May of 2020 to go to Memphis, Tennessee. God brought us back to Columbus for more school, so we've been back at Veritas since June of 2023. June of 2025, we'll be headed out again.
Yeah, I think we just wanted to share about God's faithfulness to us through our time at Veritas and why He kind of called us back.
We met Joe and Merissa at a picnic after church. From that, realized that we were the closest community group to where they were living, and so it was really nice to have them come and join our group.
We were looking for churches that were intentional about the ways that they loved God and love others. We decided to do membership with Veritas again because we just knew we had to commit to a church community, because we really feel strongly that God's favor and His Holy Spirit works in the community of believers that you commit to be a part of.
There is something different and special about committing to a body of believers, and that body of believers then committing back to us.
They just jumped right in, got involved, got to know everybody in our community group.
Over the 5 years that we've led, our group has stayed fairly consistently small. We were really hoping for a few individuals or another family to kind of join and to be another consistent presence. And they, like Lindsay said, they stepped into that role really well.
There's something really special about the view that you get of the people that come into the church, seeing more facets of who God is and who He's created you to be and who He's created other people to be, and how beautiful that can be.
I think membership was important to us because it meant we were getting close to God's people, and that's where God's heart is. God's love for us is really put on display when we get the opportunity to be vulnerable with other members of the body. My testimony is that God is faithful to the little that we give.
You probably don't even notice the ways that they're serving, where Merissa will be in kids ministry, or Joe will be part of the prayer team, or faithfully showing up on community group nights. They're not trying to get some sort of accolade or have the spotlight on them. This is what we feel called to do, and so we're just going to faithfully do it. And I think that speaks volumes, especially when you know that you're not going to be in a place for a terribly long time.
Something that we've heard the Lord say to us is just that the journey matters. And so the journey of committing to a church, the journey of committing to a community group, no matter how broken and not meeting your expectations and your hopes, all the nuances that it might be, all of those bits and pieces that you say yes to the Lord add up to something, and then He grows it into this different picture in your life where you really can see God's hand moving and shaping things.
They just know we are a part of the church, and wherever God has us, we're going to be involved in the church and love that church really well. And then when God takes us somewhere else, we're going to find a church there and just dig in and love well. And I've seen that be the case wherever God has had them.
So our next step is to go to Williamsburg, Kentucky. I am going to be working for a community health center there. We've thought about overseas missions before, and we've gone on some overseas missions trips in the past, but that wasn't where God was leading. And so just through some experiences during my training, I was really impacted by the need for dentists in rural communities. I found a faith-based community of people who love Jesus and love others, and they are choosing to do that sacrificially in southeastern Kentucky.
A really good example of taking the skills that you have, the bandwidth you have, the time you have for as long as you have it, and freely giving that. And they were willing to pour into Veritas for as long as God, like Lindsay said, for as long as God had them here. And the fact that they're already looking at where can we do that next in our next stop is pretty incredible.
We talked about going to places where we feel like God is present, and it feels like God kind of led us to rural Kentucky. That's where He's working, and that's where He's moving, and we're hoping we can see Him at work, and that He'll multiply our little bit of faithfulness.